Hi everyone, thank you very much for coming, stopping by, checking out the next video in this 5 or 6 part series. Not great at maths, so it'll be one of those two numbers. Let's go with that. So today we are going to be covering off Gallente space. This is specifically around dead running, so hopefully you're up to speed with that. If you're not, there's a video just there. Click it, and that'll give you all the information you need to know. I will be running the Vedmak. This is my latest iteration of the dead running ship, and it has proved very effective, so highly recommend you checking that video out. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this is going to show you the most efficient way to run these sites so that you can maximize the amount of money you're making out of them without spending too much time in them. If you have got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below. Other than that, if the video is helpful, don't forget to hit the like, and if you're not already, hit the subscribe button. Do it! It's free! Okay, right. Let's get into the video. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go! Okay, so now we're going to cover off the Gallente sites. Now, specifically, we're going to cover off the 3 of 10, the 4 of 10, the Vigil, and the Watch. These are fairly straightforward. There's not any big secrets or tricks to this. It's as long as you follow this, it's about as straightforward as it could possibly be. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so starting with the 3 of 10, this one is fairly straightforward. Essentially, as soon as you get into this, it's going to show up as the Narcotics warehouse. Serpentis Narcotics warehouse is what the 3 of 10 is called. And this one is fairly straightforward. There are a couple of tricks here that are quite helpful to know. So on the first room when you land, you're going to see 2 gates. You want to take the one on the left. I can't remember what the name of it's called, so apologies, but you want to take the one that's on the left-hand side. The first thing you want to be targeting and destroying is the traffic management, supply traffic management structure. The reason for this is it actually contains a key that unlocks the right-hand gate. And although there is some stuff in there, there's nothing in there that's really worth killing. The main reason that we want to destroy this is if you're scanning down these sites specifically and you come across this, if you leave that structure there, because that key unlocks the right-hand gate, it's actually a faster route through to the final room. So by destroying that and removing that, anyone that then does come in is either going to have their own key to open the gate, or alternatively, they're going to have to come in behind you. This then means that you can control, essentially, if someone's going to steal it from you or not. You've got a bit more control over that. But we go ahead, kill the supply traffic management structure, loot the can that it drops, and then make your way over to the left-hand gate. As soon as you've done that, grab the, just basically kill everything that's in the room. Just wipe everything else that's out. So that there's no possible chance of anything there stopping you from accessing the gate. And that is the first room of the 3 of 10. We'll go ahead and we'll skip forward to the next room. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and activate the left-hand gate now. This is going to take us into the second room of the 3 of 10. This room is fairly straightforward. Inside it, you are going to see a structure at the very back near the gate. It's called the staff quarters. Kill this, loot this. There is I'm not going to say a high chance, but I would say at least 60% of the time that I've killed this, there have been some sort of valuable modules inside it. I will also admit that quite openly, sometimes this does contain nothing more than a overseer's effect. but I've had faction models drop from it previously, so killing that is a very good way of potentially maximizing the amount of ESC you're going to get out of this. So yeah, we're essentially going to kill the staff quarters, loot the container that it's going to drop, and then purge everything that's in the site again, while making our way to the acceleration gate onto the third room. And that is it for this one. Okay, so now we're going to move on to room 3. Room 3, fairly straightforward. There are 2 priorities here. The first one, when you land, is the headmaster. He's the refinery headmaster, I believe he's called. Kill him, loot him. He has some potentially good stuff in him again. Sometimes he won't, sometimes he will, but he's kind of the prize in this room. Other than him, your next priority targets need to be the guards. So they're the specific NPCs that are called guards. The reason for this is they will actively make a point of disappearing off in random directions, which is not so much of a problem for the Vedmak, but for the Heke and for the Vexa particularly, these are going to be a bit more of a challenge because they're essentially running away from you, which means you've got to go and chase them down for range. Once they're dead, fairly simple, approach the gate and purge everything. Again, ignore any turrets that you come up against. There are no requirements to destroy any turrets in these rooms. None of the sites actually require you to kill turrets. None of them, regardless of the space. None of the sites require you to kill turrets. They are literally there just to shoot you. There is no objective that involves you needing to kill them in order to activate the next gate. So go ahead, purge everything else from the list. Ignoring the turrets, and once everything's dead, move on to room 4? Yeah, room 4. Okay, let's get this done. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate the gate. You can see there are still 4 turrets remaining. They're not required to activate the gate, so we're just going to ignore them, going into the final room. And this is where the money is. So, when you land into this room, the very large structure, which I don't understand how some people miss, but okay. The very large structure in front of you. Kill it. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's not overly complicated. You're literally going to destroy the station. Blow it up, get some really cool fireworks that go off, grab the loot, and if you want, there is a cruiser in here as well. I haven't yet seen him drop faction loot, myself personally, but I have heard from others that he does drop faction loot as well. Like I said, I haven't seen it myself, but it's always worth taking the shot just in case. So yeah, he's another one to add to the list, but ultimately your main goal is to get rid of that station. Once the station's dead, grab your loot and leave. And that is the narcotics warehouse. It's fairly straightforward, not overly difficult. If you are finding that you're taking a bit too much damage in this room, move. It's literally as simple as that. Just orbit. That is enough to do it. Obviously, for myself with the Vedmak, I just face tanked it and was absolutely fine there. But if you do find that you're taking a bit too much damage, just go ahead and put yourself into a small orbit. What I will tend to do when I'm engaging in the site, when I'm actually coming into the actual site itself, is either take the left or the right hand side where the fin is on the station and just basically cut over one of those sides to get to the dead center. Once I'm in the center, I'll just put myself into a manual orbit if I needed to. It's not required for myself. I'm just suggesting if there's something you're struggling with, then by all means feel free to do that. But yeah, you'll see here, we'll go ahead, we'll loot it, and then we'll leave. And that's it. That's Narcotics Warehouse. Okay, on to the next one. So now we're going to move on to the 4 of 10. This one, really, really straightforward. So once you land into the site, it's literally a clear and loot, and I'll get to explaining that a bit more once we actually land into the site here in a second. Ultimately, the best bit of advice I can give you is when you land into the first room, you're going to see a very large, what looks like I don't know how best to describe it, a holy asteroid? I actually think it's called a hollow asteroid. Anyway, you're essentially going to make your way to that big asteroid in the middle. I tend to double click underneath the X, but above the asteroid, so positioning my camera so it's going in between the two. This way I get straight through underneath the bottom of the array, but above the asteroid, and then I can come in at the bottom to grab the loot. Objectives for this room, really straightforward: kill everything. Once everything's dead, there is a container in the middle. Now, here's a really important tip for you. If you are contesting this site with someone else, make sure you are on top of that can and spamming the open and loot all button. The main reason for this is, once you've got the key, that site is dead for anyone else. They can't do anything. If you wanted to, you can warp out. You can leave at that point. Make sure you've obviously made a bookmark, but you could leave at that point. They can't activate that gate because they need the key that's inside that container, and most people won't. You can sell them in the Jita market. Most people won't bother spending the money on them purely for the fact that it's not normally worth it when the keys are being sold for sort of 60, 70, 80 million. And you're gambling on the fact that hopefully there's something in there that's worth it. It's just not worth the risk. So make sure you're on top of this container when the last NPC dies and you are looting as fast as you can. Once that happens, just approach the gate, activate the gate, and go through. Now there's a 30-second timer, so what I tend to do is once I've activated the gate, I will start a count either out loud or in my head. If I'm doing it on stream, you'll hear me counting it out loud. The reason for this is once you've activated the gate, for 30 seconds, anyone in that room with you can activate the gate. So if you've just activated it, 30 seconds, for 30 seconds, that gate will remain open. So count to 30 while you're engaging, and if you don't see anyone coming after 30 seconds, you're not going to have to worry about fighting for the site. And then if you need to kind of mitigate some of the damage that's coming in, you can. But ultimately, when you land in the next room, be counting to 30. Just make it a habit. It will save you losing sites, because trust me, it'll happen more often than you like, and it will become really, really annoying. Okay? But that's it for this room, and we'll catch up in the next room. Okay, let's go. Okay, right. Now we're going into the second room. This is very, very straightforward. Now, if you are in the Hecate or the Vexor, I would highly recommend loosening up some of the damage where you can, unless you're contesting the site, in which case, go for the kill as quick as you can, and then just basically try and play it as safe as you can. But if you're in the Dead Mac, it's literally as straightforward as it can be. Lock the battleship. I think he's called the Phi-Outpost Commander. I may be incorrect there, but I'm pretty sure he's called the Phi-Outpost Commander or Phi Commander. Lock him, kill him. It's as simple as that. Lock him, kill him, loot him. He is pretty good when it comes to money. He's got a really good bounty on him. I think it's like 2.2 million just for a bounty. And then in loot, I've had anything from between sort of 50 and 70 mil, all the way up to as much as sort of 600 million. So really good one. This is a really good one to run for IS generation. I've actually had probably, on average, most of the times that I've run this, the figures have always been within 3 digits. So it's always been 100+ mil for doing this site. And for something that takes at most maybe 6 minutes, it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. So yeah, definitely a good one to run. And as you can see here, tank isn't struggling at all. I'm just orbiting him and shooting. And it's honestly, it's as simple as that. And yeah, that's the 4 of 10. That's the Phi-Outpost. Really, really simple. We'll go ahead and we'll wait for him to die, and then we will we'll jump over to the next one. But again, if there are any questions on these, by all means, feel free to chuck them in the comments. I'm always happy to help where I can. If you've got any questions on kind of other sites as well, yeah, by all means, feel free to hit me up, and I'll be more than happy to help. But again, Eve Uni is a really good resource for information, particularly when it comes to these kinds of sites. They've got a whole section on combat sites where they will break down pretty much exactly what you've got to do. Obviously, this isn't a criticism towards Eve Uni, but yeah, there are some things that are a little bit out of date, but in general, it is really, really accurate. So I've got nothing but good stuff to say about Eve Uni, so it's definitely your go-to resource when it comes to clearing these sites. So yeah. And that is the 4 of 10. So you'll see here, I'm aligning out, ready to leave. Gonna grab the loot. And I'm out. There we go. Okay, on to the next one. Now this one, this one is literally about as simple as it gets. This is the Serpentis Vigil. Vigils in general can be quite hard to find, just because people tend to run them because they drop a blueprint. Most of the Vigils drop a blueprint of a pirate faction cruiser, and that's why they're so eagerly sought after. With this one, it's honestly, it's about as straightforward as it can be. You're going to land into the first room, and essentially you're going to kill everything. Now, this is one of those situations where Eve Uni is out of date. Eve Uni suggests that by killing the drug trafficker, who will spawn if you target one of the platoon leaders. If you kill one of the platoon leaders, he will eventually spawn. Well, Eve Uni suggests that by killing him, the gate will unlock. This isn't actually the case. In order to complete this first room so that the gate will open, you have to purge the entire room. Everything in here has to die. Doesn't include any turrets, but I don't believe there are any in here. But ultimately, everything in this room must die. So yeah, just wipe everything out in here. And as long as the drug trader dies as well, then you'll be absolutely fine, and you'll be on to the next room. So yeah, be right back. Right. Okay, so this room is a bit of a funny one. Now, you're gonna pull some doohickery and whatchamacallits here, but essentially what you want to do is when you land in the room, you want to go left around this large structure that's in the very center of the room. There is a tower, a turret in the very center. You want to go around to the left. Don't start shooting it until you've got up to full speed. Once you're up full speed and you've cleared the left-hand side of the structure, get ready to slow down. The reason for this is because that sentry tower will actually force the commander to spawn, therefore making sure that you get your faction. Now, the reason why we come around the left-hand side is because you'll see here in a second, as soon as the turret dies, they're going to come darting out to the left, and we're ideally positioned to basically grab the faction rat, shoot him, and kill him. He's a named NPC rather than being a Shadow Serpentis something. He is a named NPC. But yeah, that's essentially where your prize is. Kill him. I think he's called Tigo or something, or Tygon. Kill him, loot him, and you're done. That's it. It is as straightforward as that. There are 2 NPCs in here that will web you, which you can see is happening here. I believe they're his guardians, and they will web you. It's not a massive pain. Obviously, if you're in the Hecate, it can be quite problematic. So, by all means, if you need to, drop them and get them out of the way. But other than that, it's honestly about as straightforward as it can be. Get rid of the webbers and then just warp out. Nothing in the room will warp scramble you. So you're ideally placed to basically just evac as soon as you grab your loot, and you're good to go. That's it. That is the Serpentis Vigil. So on to the Serpentis Watch. Okay, so Serpentis Watch, really straightforward with this one. It's like out of all of the watches, excluding the Garistas one, just because that one you have to target specific ones. With this one, it is about as straightforward as it can be. As soon as you land in the site, your priority is going to be approach the gate. So as you'll see here, I'm going to activate the gate any second now. There we go. And then as soon as I land in, you're going to be about 15-20 kilometers away from the gate. Approach the gate. This is going to force the final wave of a 4-wave spawn that would normally turn up. Now, the normal process for doing this is to work your way down the list, killing everything off one at a time and working your way through the various spawns. The blitz way of doing this, which is the way to essentially ensure you're making the most money, is approach the gate, burn straight towards it, and you're waiting for the Corellum Militant Commander to spawn. He will spawn almost immediately as soon as you're within 0 of the gate. Once that happens, lock him up, target him, kill him, and then activate the gate. Straightforward and as simple as that. You'll see that here. So yeah, 1 NPC in the first room. That's it. I believe the watch in Serpentis space takes about 2 minutes to complete. So there you go. Waiting for him to show up. There he is. And done. On to room 2. Okay, so landing in room 2, really simple. You want to double click above the gate, this big red obstacle just here in the very top. Lock that up and shoot it. Almost immediately, shoot it. What you want to do then is go straight above the gate, and you want to be targeting the 2 guardians. They're called Supervisor Guardians, and then the Militant Supervisor. Those are your 3 main targets. And just basically kill them. You don't have to worry about shooting the gate anymore. Once they've spawned, that's it. Kill those 3 NPCs in whatever order you feel is best suited to you, but essentially remove them from the field. Once they're removed, the faction NPC and potential escalation will then trigger, leaving you with hopefully some really nice loot and a fairly good. I think it's a 4-part R&D escalation. I think it's called Booster R&D, which is quite fun. It's actually really good fun, and the last room in Booster R&D is a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff going on there. But yeah, it's not an issue for the ship. So yeah, that is that's about as simple as you can make it. That's essentially the Serpentis Watch in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I think it takes in total to run this. It's not a big hitter to run this one. Fairly straightforward. And yeah, really easy to do. And that is dead running in Gallente space. It is about as straightforward as it can be. The Gallente ones themselves, like I said, other than the watch with the gate trick, there aren't really many ones that are challenging. The Vigil obviously being a little bit out of date on Eve Uni, but I've already contacted someone there and asked them if they can update that. So hopefully by the time this video goes out, that will have already been changed, and if not, it'll be changed at some stage in the immediate future. But yeah, other than that, it's honestly it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, enjoy. And there you have it. That is dead running. Hopefully you've picked up some tips and tricks from that are going to help you along the way. If you have got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below, and I will endeavour to answer them as soon as I can. Following this, there'll be some videos suggestions for you. Feel free to check those out. And other than that, if you're not already subscribed, hitting the subscribe button would be fantastic. Until then, have fun. Go forth and make money. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye for now. Bye.